Hello everyone, good morning once again. You're welcome to another wonderful class on this learning platform. I'm sure you're really enjoying yourself. Wow. This morning, we'll be talking about common ratio in quantitative reasoning class. So we have quantitative reasoning now, and I want you to get your writing materials, your paper, your book, your jotter, your notepad, everything you will be needing for this class because we'll be doing some calculations and workings together. Okay, I'm sure you're ready. Please get yourself settled somewhere very quiet and calm. And I will need your rapt attention because this class you need to really pay a careful attention to all what I'll be saying because I don't want you to miss anything out of the class. Like I said, the topic is common ratio, and I'm still Mrs. Olayinka, and I'm so happy to have you here. Now, at the end of this class, I expect you to be able to explain to me how to get common ratios and how to get the next term in a set. How to get common ratio, how to get the next term in a set, and how to get varying ratios. Can I come over it again? Alright. At the end of this class, I expect you to explain to me how to get common ratio, how to get the next term in a set, and how to get varying ratios. Okay? Please, if you want to be able to explain to me all this, you need to pay attention. Okay, let's go. What is common ratio? Common ratio is the same number or factor that is used to multiply or divide a term to get other terms in a sequence. What you use to multiply or divide a term to get other terms in the sequence. I hope you have gotten those points, major targets, these key points there. The points you need to take note of. You need to either multiply, you need to divide, you need to divide a particular term to get other terms in a sequence, a set. You may see me saying set sometimes. I'm talking about sequence. Now, therefore, while finding common ratios, we need to either multiply or divide. Don't forget, we will be needing these two mathematical operations very, very well. These two mathematical operations, either to multiply or to divide. We'll be needing them very well in this topic. We don't need plus, we don't need subtraction. What we need is just multiply and divide. Multiplication and division signs. Okay. Now let's go to the next slide. Multiplying and dividing with a common ratio. How do you multiply or divide to get a common ratio? Let me explain to you. When finding a common ratio, divide the second term that is figured by the first. Divide the second term figure, that is the figure, by the first. Divide the second term figure by the first. I'm sure you get what I'm trying to say. Then you divide the third term figure by the second, and the fourth term figure by the third, and so on and so forth. That's what means that divide the fifth term figure by the what? By the what? What do you think? Who can fill the gap for me? Divide the fifth by the fourth. Okay. Alright. By the time I show you the example I have on the next slide, you understand what I'm saying. So the one in the front, you divide it by the previous one to it. The one in the front, so I have 4 and I have 8. Okay. You divide 8 by 4. You just say 8 divided by 4. Do you get it? So you divide a figure by the one behind it. Divide a figure by the one behind it. Do you get it? That's what all this explanation I have here is trying to say. But I will show you more examples in the next slide. Now, multiplying or dividing with a common ratio. Let me give you the first example. Now, find the common ratios in this set. This is the set. 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. Okay, we have, let me write it out so you can see. 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. And like I explained in the previous slide, you divide the second by the first, the third by the second, the fourth by the third, the fifth by the fourth, like that, depending on the number of figures on the set or on the sequence. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 figures. So what do? You divide this by this by this by this, and this by this. Do you get it now? Let's go. So you say 32. Let's start from here. 32 divide by what? 16. You give us what? How many times can 16 go in 32? Twice. Then you divide 16 by 8. How many times can 8 go in 16? It's still 2. Okay, you divide what again? 8 by 4. Okay, 8 divided by 4. How many times can 4 go in 8? It's 2. Then you divide what? What's the next one? This is the last one. 4 divided by 2. So how many times can 2 go in 4? The answer is what? 2. You can see something. You can see something very common. This is common, 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 common. You can see the answer is common. So what is the common ratio there? It's 2. The common ratio is what? 2. Do you understand? Okay, let me give you another example. Still using division or dividing or multiplying with a common ratio. Okay, you can see an example here. The same thing, just like I did. You can see the example. 81 divided by 27 will give us what? 3. 27 divided by 9 will give us what? 3. 9 divided by 3 will give us what? 3. So the common ratio is what? It's called 3. Do you understand to this extent? Okay, good. Now let's see. I think this is the one we just worked on. I think I did it twice. Okay, it's worked on already. Solved, worked on. Okay, so we need to just repeated. So let's go to another one. Now let's find the next term. If you want to find the next term, how do you do it? Next term means the figure or the next sequence. Suppose you have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So the next term is the one that will be here, which is what? 12. The next term here will be what? You can tell me. You can see that we're adding 2, 2, 2, 2. The next term will be what? 14. And the next term will be what? 16. So, in order not to use our brain and be looking for the answer like this, at the end of the day, we now make a mistake because we didn't use the correct formula. So, how do we look for the next term? Let's go. So, in case you want to look for the next term, you don't divide again, just like we divided in the previous slide. You don't divide. Instead, you multiply. You multiply times. Okay, let's see. Now we have the same question we have here. When I say we've worked on, okay, we have 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. Okay. 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. Now, we want to find the next term. What do? You multiply it. You just say 2 times 2. You use the common ratio that you have gotten to multiply it. You know you have gotten our common ratio in the previous slide, which is what? 2. Now use that common ratio to multiply and get the answers out. So this 2 times your common ratio will give us 4. Then 4 times your common ratio will give us 8. 8 times your common ratio will give us 16. 16 times your common ratio will give us 32. 32 times your common ratio will give us what? 64. So the next term is what? 64. You know, in our previous slide, we stopped at 32. 32. So the next term will now be 64. So you know how to get next time after 64 now. Okay, that's good. Alright, so the next term is 64. After 64, if you want to get the next term, what do? You can tell me. Good, you just say 64 times your common ratio will give us what? 128. Is that taken? That's very good. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Example 2. Find the common ratio in this set. Now we want, just like I explained to you, how do you go about it? You just start from the back and be dividing by the previous, and the previous, and the previous, and the previous. And you can see I worked it here. The first one is 243 divided by 81 will give us what? 3. Then 81 divided by 27 will give us 3. Sorry, I made a mistake here. It's supposed to be 81 divided by 27 will give us 3. Then the next one will be 27 divided by 9 will give us 3. That's what's supposed to be here too. Divided by 9 will give us 3. And then the next one is supposed to be 9 divided by 3 will give us 3. So that's why we have our common ratios as what? 3, 3, 3, 3. Do you understand? Therefore, our common ratio is what? 3. Do we understand? Are you sure you understand what the way I've gotten my 3 as my common ratio? Okay, very good. Now let's go to the next slide. You want to find the next term. You understand the way to get the next term. Just look for the common ratio of the period. This question, the common ratio is 3. So pick that common ratio 3 and then times it with this one. Your 3 times your common ratio will give us 9. Your 9 times your common ratio will give us 27. Your 27 times your common ratio will give us 81. Okay, 81 times your common ratio will give us what? 2, 4, 3. So what the next one? You say what? Your 2, 4, 3 times your common ratio. Then let's work it out. Somebody give me the answer. What do we get there? Okay, let's do it together. 3 times 3 will give us what? 9. 3 times 4 give us what? 12. Put your 1 here. 3 times 2 give us what? 6. Plus that one give us 7. So this is our next term. So the next term will be what? 729. Good. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Don't forget, multiplying or dividing with varying ratio is the next thing we want to learn. So where the ratios are not the same, they are said to be varying. Varying, that means they are not the same. When you see varying, something is varies, that means they are not the same. So in a case where the ratios are varying, that means they are not the same. In that case, there is no common ratio in that question, but there is a varying ratio. Anytime you worked out your question, find out that the ratios are not the same, that means they are not common ratios there, but there are what? Varying ratios. Good. Now let's have an example here. Now, dividing and multiplying with varying ratios. I have a question here. Alright, the same method we did, just work it out. The same way. You say 120 divided by 24 will give you what? 5. 24 divided by the next one is 6, will give us 4. 6 divided by 2. Now I got my 6 and 2. This is 6 divided by 2. 6 divided by 2 give us 3. And then this is the last one, 2 divided by 1. So 2 divided by 1 will still give us 2. So we have 5, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2. 5, 4, 3, 2. Are they the same? Are they? Good. So that means they are varying. That's what we call varying ratio. So when you solve your quantitative and you find out that you have different answers like this, then your answer is not in common ratio, but it's in what? Varying ratio. So do you understand how to find varying ratios now? The moment your answers are not the same, they are not in common ratios, they are in varying ratio. Now in conclusion, finding common ratios and varying ratios requires some level of carefulness. You have to be very, very careful. And always remember that the two mathematical operations used are multiplication and division. That is the two mathematical operations that are used. Multiplication and division. You don't need to go to addition and subtraction at all. Multiplication and division. So you multiply to get the next term, and you divide to get the common and varying ratio. Is that okay? Very good. Now, when you want to get the common and varying ratio, you do what? You divide. You divide. But when you want to get the next term, you do what? You multiply. Okay. I'm sure you have really gotten one or two things from the class and you have learned a lot. Now let's find out how much you have learned. I want you to explain how do you get your common ratio. How do you get your common ratio? Okay. Good. Now how do you get the next term? The next term. How do you get it? Good. Then explain varying ratios. How do you explain varying ratios? Are they the same? Are the ratios the same or they are different? Good. Now find the common ratios in this set. Okay, what do you do? Can tell me. We have 16, 8, 4, and 2. What do we do? You use 16 divided by 8. And like that, and you get your common ratio. So what do you think is the common ratio in this question? The answer is what? Good. Very good. Thank you so much for listening to today's class. I'm sure you've learned a lot in today's class. I want to see you tomorrow in your class activity doing very well. And please take care of yourself. Bye.